Hi guys, Nishant here. In this tutorial, we are going to take a look at list in HTML. There are different type of list in HTML. First, we are going to discuss unordered list and ordered list. So now let's take a look at them. I've already saved the file as list.html. So now we are going to write the syntax of HTML. In title, I'm going to write list in HTML. Now we are going to take a look at unordered list. An unordered list is defined with the tag ul inside the body. So I'm writing ul tag. Each item in the list is defined with li tag. So I am first defining an item using li tag. By default, this item will be marked with a disk, that is small black circles. So let's start. So I have already defined ul tag, and inside that I am going to write the name of first item. So I am writing here Khaleesi. I am writing 3 items in this list. So one is Khaleesi, second one will be Arya Stark, and let's say third will be Jon Snow. So these are 3 items we have defined using li tag. I'm also going to write an h2 tag so that you guys can have a better understanding on ordered list. So now let's save it and view the file in web browser. So saving it, opening the folder where we save it, opening the file in web browser. This here is the result. This here is the markup for each item in the list. This is what we call disk, and this here are the items. So what if we don't want this disk here? What if we want some other markers? So HTML also provides us different markers like square, circle, and also none if you don't want any markers. So let's take a look at them. So we use style attribute in the starting tag to change the markers. So using style attribute, inside style attribute we are going to write list style type. So we are going to take a look at all of them. So first is disk. This is the by default one. So let's save it and refresh it. As you can see, there is no change because this is by default one. So now let's change it to circle and save it. Refresh the page. As you can see, now the marker is circle. Now let's change the circle to square and save it. So now refresh the page. As you can see, the marker is now square. And what if we don't want any of the marker here? So we just have to write none and save the program, and let's see what happens. As you can see, there is no marker now. So that's all for unordered list. So now let's take a look at ordered list. An ordered list is defined with ol tag. So let's take a look at that. An ordered list is defined with ol tag, and each item in the ol tag is defined with li tag, similarly like ul tag. So li, I'm again writing the same items. Khaleesi, again li tag. Arya Stark, Inside li tag I'm writing Jon Snow, and here I'm again giving h2 tag and writing ordered list. So let's save this and just refresh it. As you can see, this is what we call an ordered list. It comes with numbers because it is ordered 1, 2 and 3. So that's all for ordered list. HTML also provides us different markers for ordered list. So what if we don't want any numbers? We can also change it to upper letter case, lower letter case, upper Roman number and lowercase Roman number. So let's take a look at them. But here we don't use style. Instead of style, we use type attribute, and inside type we are going to mention what we want as a marker. So 1 is used as by default for numbers. So let's save this and open your web browser. As you can see, there is no change because it is numbers by default. To use it for upper cases, we are going to write capital A and save it. Now let's take a look at our output. As you can see, instead of numbers we are getting capital A, capital B and capital C. Now if we want marker as a small cases, we can use small case A and save the program. Now let's take a look. Similarly, we can use this for using uppercase and lowercase Roman numbers. So for Roman numbers, I'm going to use simple I. Now refresh it. As you can see, we are getting uppercase Roman number. And for using smaller case Roman number, just small I. So refresh it. As you can see, lowercase Roman numbers. So that's all for ordered list. HTML also support description list. A description list is a list of terms with a description of each term. So here DL tag is used to define description list. So let's take a look at that. So here I'm using DL for description list. DT tag is used to define the terms or the names. So first we're going to write DT tag, and DD tag is used to describe each of this term. So now let's take a look at them. So here I'm writing again Khaleesi, and to describe Khaleesi I'm going to give DD tag, and inside the DD tag I'm going to write mother of dragons. So this is the description for Khaleesi, the terms we have specified inside the DT tag. So now I'm going to do the same for each of this term. So for Arya Stark, inside the DD tag I'm going to write a girl has no name. Now DT tag Jon Snow, DD tag King of the North. So that's our description list. So now let's save it and view the file in web browser. So refresh it. So let me give h2 tag so that you guys can have a better understanding. Description list. So let's save it, refresh the page. So Khaleesi is mother of dragons, Arya Stark, a girl has no names, and Jon Snow, king of the north. So these are the description for the each specified term. So that's all for description list. A list can be nested in HTML, means one list inside another list. So that is called nested list. So let's take a look at them. So for that I'm going to use again h2 tag. Inside h2 tag I'm going to write nested list. So what is nested list? So let me show it to you. I'm going to write ul tag unordered list, and inside that first I'm going to give my item name, that is Khaleesi. So this is my first list. Inside that I'm going to give another list using ul tag. So inside this list comes 3 more items. So first I'm writing 3 dragons, another li tag, I'm writing Tyrion, li, and army. So now I'm going to give another li tag for the item called Arya Stark, and let's leave Arya Stark alone. So now here I'm going to write Jon Snow. For Jon Snow I'm going to give another list. Inside this list I'm going to give different items. Let's say first Sansa Stark, another item called Little Finger, and third item is Melisandre, red hair witch. One more item says army. So now let's save it and let's view this in a web browser. As you can see, this is our heading. So Khaleesi has 3 dragons, Tyrion, and an army. Arya Stark right now is alone. Jon Snow has Sansa Stark, Littlefinger, Melisandre the red-haired witch, and an army. So this is what we call nested list. So that's all for nested list. So now we are going to take a look at styles in list. HTML list can be styled in many different ways with CSS. So first we are going to create a menu. So for that I am going to create another page and I am going to save it as list2.html, and in this page I am going to create a menu. So now let's write HTML syntax. Inside title I am going to write list in HTML. Oops. Now I am going to define ul tag inside body section. Inside ul tag I am going to define its item. Inside item I am going to write anchor tag, and inside the h reference I am going to pass an id for each page I am going to create, or each element I am going to create. So here first element is home. I am going to copy it for each element I want. Oops. So now I am going to change it. So for this it is tutorial. I'm going to write here tutorial. Now here I'm going to write project. Again here project. Inside this I'm going to write about. This here will be about us, not about us, it's about us. Here will be contact us, and the ID password area will be contact. So let's save this first and open this file in the web browser. So this is our result. So when I click on home, the ID referred here is hashtag home, and same goes for each of the element, hashtag tutorial, hashtag project, hashtag about, and hashtag contact. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use style tag inside this file using internal CSS to make it look more attractive. So style tag, we don't need type here. Inside style tag I'm going to write UL curly braces and list style type. Here I'm going to give none. So let's save this and refresh it. As you can see, we don't want any markers here, therefore we are writing none. Now as you can see, there is space between the text and the border. So let's write it down. What I'm going to write is margin equal to 0 and padding equal to 0. So now as you can see, it looks good. So now what I'm going to write is, for each item that is defined using anchor tag. So now I'm going to display it as a block. The text will be displayed the text will be displayed with a color. I'm giving it as white. I want each text in the center, so text align center. I'm changing the padding to 20 pixel. Background is black. So let's save this first and refresh it. As you can see, we got a block. Color of the text is now white. Each text here is now aligned in the center. Padding is 20 pixel and the background is now black. So let's make it look more attractive. So again, li and a, I'm using a hover. And background color, that is gray semicolon. Save it and refresh it. So what this will do is, so whenever someone hover upon this link, the background color changes to gray. So that is what we call hover property. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this whole thing into a navigation bar using float property. So here I'm going to write li curly braces. Inside that I'm going to write float left semicolon. Let's save this. Let's take a look. So if you refresh it, as you can see, you got a simple navigation bar. So what if we want to increase the width? So to increase the width, we have to write the width in this tag for each item defined using anchor tag. So here width will be 212 pixels. 212 is the size for my screen here, web browser. So refreshing it, as you can see, it gives me a good navigation bar. So this is home, tutorial, project, about us, and contact us. So when I click on home, it will give me hashtag home reference. So when I click on tutorial, it will give me hashtag tutorial reference, and it goes for project, about us, and contact us. So that's all for list in HTML. Thank you for watching this tutorial.